Casual here. PCF have been buffing classes in recent patches, and suddenly this Technomancer Ordnance Build absolutely rocks. Want to go face to face with a broodmother and slap them down? Stand in the middle of an explosion inferno, watching your enemies disintegrate? Well, this is the build for you then. Let's get into it. In the last patch, Pain Launcher and Shrapnel skills were buffed, reducing their cooldowns and increasing the base damage of Shrapnel. So I went for it and came up with a build around Ordnance skills and the Torrential Downpour gear set. This gear set's bonus adds cluster bombs to each Shrapnel, dealing additional damage which scales with anomaly power, making its AoE damage insane. I'm using mods that buff the 3 Ordnance skills. For Shrapnel I'm using more damage, supplies and trap cluster. For Pain Launcher I'm using Cannonade and Advanced Rockets. And finally for my Rocket Launcher I'm using Rocket Man, Demolition Man and Bang for Your Buck. These all have a common theme, increasing the number of times I can use them, or their ammo, and increasing the damage they do with each hit. None of this is rocket science. For my final 2 mods I'm picking up Anomaly Echo and Damage Absorber. Anomaly Echo is not my first pick, but I can't swap it off right now. Damage Absorber is an important mod to use. For this build to work you need to be in the thick of the action and able to take a ton of damage. I'm running 32,300 health with 71.4% physical damage reduction and 50% resistance, which makes me very strong, particularly with Enox wildlife. There are some good tier 1 alternatives if you don't have all the tier 3 mods yet. Portable Armour increases your rocket launcher ammo. More traps does the same for Shrapnel. Rain of Pain reduces the cooldown on Pain Launcher by 34%, while Initial Blast adds AoE damage to its activation. In terms of stats, the Torrential Downpour and Grim Inventor gear sets are perfect, coming with Anomaly Power, Skills Life Leech and cooldown reduction. I am picking up 2 max health for the tankiness that I need. Other stats are useless and should be avoided. Long and close range damage are weapon damage buffs which you won't need. You aren't applying any stasis effects, so status power is likewise a waste of space. I am using Death Shield for the Fortress mod as well as its great on-demand healing. You won't be using your guns very often though, but the Fortress mod makes a huge difference. My sidearm is modded with Clip Combustion and Moaning Winds, a useful AoE bomb to have, but again, a nice to have really. My secondary weapon is just there to round out the steampunk look. Any skills based build is going to be focused on anomaly power, so the look of this class tree should be no surprise. The build essentially does 3 things. Increase anomaly power and resistance piercing to make my skills stronger and more effective. Reduce cooldowns to allow me to use my skills more often. And buff health, armor and resistance to make me tanky enough to go toe to toe with bosses, including a huge 50% armor buff from armored units. And that's it. Probably one of the most simple and coordinated builds you will see. I've already mentioned the 3 skills that I'm using, Shrapnel, Pain Launcher and the Rocket Launcher. There are 2 things that are really important here. Firstly, all of the skills interrupt. This is great for stun locking bosses and preventing them from using their abilities. Secondly, the cooldowns on the skills work really well in rotation. When fighting bosses, drop all your Shrapnels onto them, followed by a Pain Launcher while they are staggering, and then start to unload your rockets directly into their face. As soon as Shrapnel is back up again, which it will be quickly, drop them all and finish the boss off with your final few rockets. I'm shocked at how good this build is. Technomancer has always been a gun class, but this build is very close to the top tier Blighted Rounds builds. And for what it lacks in single target damage, which is not a lot, it more than makes up for being a tanky son of a bitch. I thought it was only Devastators who could go toe to toe with multiple bosses, but this build certainly holds its own in that respect. Until next time, Casual out.